Second now, we should be live, probably live right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Get it done. And yeah, we're live. Pretty sure we're live. Check it on there. It says we're live on here. I should just start trusting Zoom really when it says it. How you been, Tim? You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. Yep, all good. Just busy with work, healing up this left arm still. Hopefully do something at the Pro Nationals. I'll be there anyway to help with some reffing and stuff.
Yeah. You gonna compete?
Still in two minds. Like I said, it would only be the left at this point, and it depends on how it feels, really.
Yeah. What are you weighing now?
It's gone up a little bit since the novices last weekend, just because it's a bit depleted after that, but probably about 77, 78.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so I can see on the screen here it's doing that. Just skipping on to one at a time.
Having to play with the settings, make sure it's right for you.
It's only showing one at a time on the screen here. Not sure what's going on there. Right. Might have to just roll with it like that.
No worries. I'm sure Anil in our chat comment doesn't mind too much.
Oi, oi. What's going on, Anil?
Has he made a decision yet if he's going to be 75 or under 85? I think he's sitting at 80 at the minute.
Yeah, not sure.
Go big or go home, mate. Go big or go home.
I mean, I don't know, really. I don't know what I'd like to see him do. Either whatever he does, I'd like to see him at the higher weight. See what he can do there. But then again, I would. Now he's been active again for quite a while. Would be good seeing him in the 75s again, seeing what he could do there.
See where that lethal speed's at, yeah.
I think he's got really good chances in 75s this year. Holly Stewart's in the chat. Evening, gents. Chris Thomas, Jumper Machine. Yeah, I'm going to be releasing some jumpers soon, Chris. Limited edition. There's going to be about 50 of them released in the next couple of weeks, probably December. So you have to pick them up pretty quick. And Neil said 86, mate, decided. Yeah, and Neil's going to go 86s.
Nice.
That's going to be good to see. What are you weighing now, Neil? Obviously, we see your weight on the scales that you posted, but do you think you'll be high end of it? Or do you reckon it'd be like 83, 84 coming into it?
This is always tricky coming into these things, isn't it? Knowing how accurate the scales are compared to home, because you don't want to come in a bit too much and then last second have to try and trim it off. You know, that's not fun at all.
Yeah, exactly. I need to change battery on my scales. I'll tread it like 3 out of 4 times. It'll say like 3 different weights. So whatever weight it says twice out of 4 times, then that's my weight, basically. But obviously can't trust it. Waiting for the Hooligan. Not sure if he's going to come in tonight. Hopefully he does.
Sleeping on the job again, isn't he?
Yeah, probably is. I mean, he's been training like a madman at the minute. So, and yeah, he's working flat out, training flat out. There's no rest for that man. No rest at all for him. Scott Galley, have a crack at Tim. See what he's saying. Rory Newbold's in the chat. Evening all. Yeah, I think you should go for it, Tim. Definitely, I think you should go for the pros. See what you can do. You might surprise yourself.
Well, yeah, it was interesting listening. I don't want to talk too early about the content for this show, maybe, but listening last night to the Arm Gods with Dan Hanlon and Josh and Paul in there having a good chat. Some interesting perspectives from the guys, and it's inspiring in many ways as well. You know, because I think more about the it's not so much about the winning necessarily. It's not just about the taking part either, but it's about the progression and the progression that's afforded from competing regularly, I think, as well. So yeah, getting myself healthy and competing as much as possible is definitely the way forward.
100%. The thing is, as well, I think with if you're going, you've got two things there. You've got going in there just to win, and you've got going in there to progress.
Yeah.
And the best way this is just long story short, best way to progress is to learn from your opponents. Whether you beat them, you know where you stand. If you lose to them, you got to learn how you lost to them. And you get a little scale as well. You get to judge how far away they are and how they're actually beating you. You could be like, right, now if I do that, train for that one move specifically for that one person that beat me.
Yeah.
And you could do that even if you're a novice. You could do that in the novices or in the pros. But you're going to learn a lot quicker in taking losses from pros than you are from novices.
Yeah, that's true.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So why wait? Why wait when you can learn from better losses? If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like chances are you're going to get smashed a bit, not smashed, but you're going to get beat in a more technical way, which is a better way to learn, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think there's always that little bit of a worry, thinking, "Oh, am I conditioned enough just yet to take the hit from a pro?" And it's kind of like if you're going up there and you're saying to them, "Look, I've only just take it easy on me." Like if I'm pulling against you yourself, Tom, I'm either going to have to be asking that or taking a full hit, and then it's a bit like, am I going to then put myself behind a bit by not being able to train because I've now got this injury which I need to improve upon? That. So that's the little. I think that's the trade off in the mind.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing as well, though, because it's hard to train with that much intensity, that much aggression that you give in the competition, that someone's giving you in the competition.
Yeah.
Not many, like, us as well. I never train. We rarely train hits when we train. Hits just isn't a thing. Hits only come in the competition time. And again, that's just conditioning. And the best time to condition that is at competitions. But obviously, I'm not saying to go head in against like someone who's like a really aggressive hitter. If you see your first time in the pros, like I'm not saying to go head in and just like clash with them, because you will get injured. But the more of these competitions you enter, the more beatings you take, the more your muscles and tendons are going to adapt to it. So them hits they'll still feel as bad, but it won't hurt you as much.
Yeah.
And it's just forcing your body to condition, really. If you give yourself a choice, your body's lazy, isn't it? You're not going to.
Yeah, and it's the mental aspect, isn't it, as well? By going through that trial of fire, you know that you can commit to it, and it's kind of when you're stuck on that in between ground. I think when you're afraid to hit or afraid to catch is when you're probably going to get injured. Whereas actually, if you commit to an actual move or a technique, you might surprise yourself, as you say.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's second guessing as well. Like Craig's a good example. Craig's got such a blistering hit that most people just refuse to even try. They'll just be like, no, just take me down. Like, even if you say to Craig, look, I'm a novice, don't hit me, he's still like, smash. It'll go right. You know what I mean? He don't care. He don't care at all. But and he's smart, though, because he won't risk it, which is the best thing to do, because you just can't risk it with anyone. You just never know what their strength is. And yeah, I just think the best way to condition your arms is jumping straight in. And not necessarily meeting hit for hit, but seeing if you can stop it in a way.
Yeah.
But I think you're more likely to get injured just trying to having your arm loose and letting someone whack your arm down than you are trying to fight it a little bit. Does that make sense? Not hitting against it, but if you try and contain it a bit, I think there's less chance of injury in a certain way.
Well, I certainly found with the guys that I pulled up at the competition table, I was losing on the setup if I was losing. Like if there was any kind of a catch at all, I was plenty strong enough in the slow pull positions. So it's really a question of like fighting for what I want in their setup and just making those little adjustments, which is kind of like table IQ as well. So there's definitely stuff I can work on in practice to make myself more ready, in addition to the physicality of the hits and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But, Chris was saying the standard of the novices is even bigger now. There's definitely guys that are winning or close to winning the novices. Like obviously the guy that won the nationals in 2019 that was disqualified, he got second place, but it was a guy from Bristol got first. So how good was he to beat this guy who pro'd like 4 years ago? I don't know how much he's been training since then, but it shows that the level to actually win the novice nationals is really impressive.
Exactly. And the thing is, as well, the training is getting more advanced, so people are just getting better and better, even quicker and quicker. Like Curtis Reynolds was a subject last night.
Yes.
A lot of people that say like, oh yeah, well, Paul Maiden say mainly like he's been training since he was 13 and he's a pro. He's basically a pro and he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
The way I see it is, no matter even if he had been training since he was 13 years old, regardless of how long he'd done it, he still entered the novices last year and he still come sixth place last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the progression that he made from last year. So how old is he now? How old's Curtis roughly? He's like early 20s, isn't he?
I think they said early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. So even if he's been training for the best part of like 9-10 years, like since he was 13, Last year he got 6th, and then just in that year gap, he's gone from 6th to 1st. And again, that just shows if you do the right training, you can make massive jumps just doing the right things.
Yeah.
So Curtis fully deserved that win, and obviously it's 100%, and he deserved to be in there because he was still proving himself. Now he has solidified it and proved himself that he is more than capable of.
Yeah, it sets the bar high, and doesn't it really go into the pro nationals as well? Because knowing
Exactly.
how much he outclassed the majority of the guys in his weight category, how strong he was.
Exactly.
Yeah, it shouldn't have put much mileage on his arms as well. So I think he should be relatively fresh in a few weeks' time. Be good to see weight.
And there was a couple of people that were matching him in there for strength. Like I've seen a match with him and Noah.
That's true. Yeah, Noah's got some really nice positions. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, that was a bit of a battle, and it was a thinking game after that because they were both locked in the middle. The thing that Curtis done right compared to Noah was Curtis kept the height, and Curtis was trying to gain more on the hand, where Noah was just holding on. It looked to me anyway like Noah was just holding on with brute strength, and he used a lot of body weight to keep it planted. So, but Curtis made the right adjustments, which is smart. And yeah, now he fully deserves to be in the pros. And yeah, fair play to him. Who else we got in the chat? Rambling a little bit here. So we got Strangest Man in the chat. Vanilla Armwrestling. 80 kilo now, mate. Evening. Trying 4,000 calories a day now up until comp. We'll cut back to 75s next year. Experiment this year at 86s. Yeah, that's the thing, mate. There's all the time in the world in there, isn't there? You've got to just throw yourself in, experiment it, see if you're stronger when you're heavier, stronger when you're lighter. I feel stronger when I'm heavier myself. But obviously my fitness and stamina and everything feels a lot better when I'm lighter. So
do you feel that your ability to hit, your speed, does that feel decreased with the increased strength you're feeling? Do you think?
To be honest, no, I still feel as fast.
Yeah.
I do still feel as quick. If not, if anything, I just feel like I can get more power behind the hit. So, and speed generates power anyway.
Yeah.
So speed with more power is even better to me.
Speed to spare, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. But that's the theory anyway. I've got to put that to the test properly against James Wall. See if it works. Holly Stewart, Tim was brilliant at Novice Nationals. Definitely give it a bash. There's a lot of people think you should try the pros, Tim. Chris Thomas, novice level this year was better than last year. The gap to pro is probably smaller. Yeah, like I said, Chris, the training's getting more and more advanced. There's a lot more novices coming into it. How many novices entered? 115?
Yeah, I think so.
That's the biggest novice championships we've ever had in the UK, I think. I'm pretty sure it is by a long shot.
It was a packed full day. I think we were there to like about 10, 11 or something before we actually left as well. Definitely. So at the end.
And when you got that many competitors coming into it, brand new into the sport, it's more competition.
Yeah.
It's more people have got to be smarter. You're going against a lot more people. You're figuring a lot more things out, a lot more opponents to go against. And the more opponents you're coming against, the more you're going to learn.
Yeah, I think I had like six matches, I think, sort of 3 pins and 3 losses to get to where I was. So
yeah, that's what I mean. It's 3 losses.
Yeah, I think so.
Battle for 5th place.
I think there was, although I'm not 100% sure if that was a mistake or not. I'm not sure from Dan Earthquake.
I think that's probably. When did you come 5th?
No, I think I got 7th in the end, but I wasn't in the top 6, so I don't know for certainty. But I think it was just outside of that. But I did have an extra match with a guy from Essex that I wasn't expecting. I got called up for last minute, but that may have been a mistake on. I know there were a few little technical issues on the day with the scorekeeping and stuff. So,
I mean, how many was in your class? Because sometimes you got to battle for 5th place, and then if there's a lot of people in the class, sometimes you'll have to battle for the 7th as well.
Yeah, when he called me up, I was a bit surprised by it. He then said, I think it was for the 5th or 6th. We then pulled it. I lost that one. And then later on, he said something else, which then made me think maybe that was a mistake, that match, having it anyway. So I wasn't already in the running for that. So maybe 7th, maybe 8th. I don't know. It didn't matter too much to me. But yeah, I think there was something like 23, 24 guys in in the under 75s, similar numbers, maybe slightly more in the 86s as well. So yeah, strong numbers.
That's a lot. That's like pro composition numbers, probably more.
Wow.
I don't think there's going to be 115 pros entering.
We're going to really struggle soon with getting all these matches done in a single day.
Yeah, 100%. I think next year or two is going to need, probably going to have to look at a bigger venue, because the way the sport's growing at the minute in the UK, there's going to be even more novices next year.
Yeah.
And how many novices are there that are actively training now that didn't enter? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be looking at about 140.
Yeah.
You could be looking at about 130, 140, 150 competitors next year at novice championships. And that room looked rammed already. So
yeah, we look to get more of our guys there next year, and we're only a small newer club, but we got like 5 or 6 guys be ready for competition if they're up for it, you know.
Exactly. That's what I mean. There's easily got the potential to have like 140, 150 competitors there, which how deep an M class is going to be then. Like, that's going to be crazy. And by next year, the level's going to be even higher than it is this year. That's my opinion. I think it's just going to keep climbing now. But I think a bigger venue is going to be needed really soon. And probably, like you said, over 2 days. Going to have to be done over 2 days. Probably left arm right one day, right arm next day.
Yeah, I think if Dan Earthquake gets a bit more help on the running of the day side of things, he's got people helping him now. James and Holly, but were excellent there at the weekend. Obviously, we had just about enough refs in total, but the room's still a little bit chaotic in terms of like noise and stuff, because there's music going, the mics sometimes cutting out. There's a few delays here and there because guys have popped outside for a smoke or something. So there's a few more like logistical things I think we could do, small improvements that could be made just to make the day run a little bit tighter. But yeah, either way, year or two, it's going to be absolutely explosive.
100%. Who else we got in the chat? The Claymore's in the chat. How you doing, James? Have you seen James Stewart's lifts?
Not recently, no. I remember seeing them a little while ago. They're absolutely crazy on the Rolling Thunder, 106 kilos. I want to say something.
I see him do it a couple of days ago. I was like, oh, fuck it, I've got to try that.
How'd you get on?
He's done all right, mate. Done all right. He had he pulled out the Country Crush single 3-inch handle, and I was like, hang on, I've got one like that. And I've got the double one, but I haven't pulled it out in like fucking 3-4 years, something like that. But felt all right on it, to be honest. It was good. But just watching him do them big weights, I was like, fucking hell, it's getting me motivated to train now as well. So I just love trying all different things as long as it's max lifting. I love it. Mr. Peanuts in the chat. James Stewart said, put tension in the arm before catching it.
Okay, yeah.
And World Strangers Man's in the chat, yeah. Holly Stewart, absolutely. Chris, novices have raised the bar this year. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, the more numbers they get, there's going to be, the higher the level's going to climb. There's more people chasing that spot. And competition's getting tighter and tighter. Lee Webber's in the chat. What's happening, mate? Anil, Tom, you training at Craig's next week, Sunday, for a training day. Just heard on the grapevine you may be coming. Yeah, I'll be there, Anil, on the 12th. It's day after my test. Hopefully I'll pass. Obviously I won't have a car in time to drive up there, but I'll be able to start giving a few favours back, giving some people lifts back to competitions and stuff. Like Tim, for a start, I'll have to start giving him a few lifts because he's helped me out in the past quite a lot. Good to return the favour. Carl Crosby's in the chat. Ad Barnett's in the chat. Carl Crosby, you've outdone yourself with today's jumper. Epic Emmerdale style. Yeah, it's called a Zach Dingle, this one.
Don't forget, Tom, as well, that if you're going for a big training session on Sunday, don't wear yourself out because you'll have a special guest, I believe, joining you on Wednesday.
On the 16th.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
Yeah, that would be good. I think we'll keep that. I'm not sure if that's big news or anything. We'll have to keep that quiet, I think, until all is revealed. But yeah, that's gonna be a brilliant one. We've got a special guest coming over on the 16th. and we're not telling you who it is. We're just gonna have a good session and show you the footage. The guy don't want it to be a big session anyway. He just wants it to be a little get together thing. So just got to respect it. Holly Stewart, only 2 from Scotland came, and there's 30 plus novices up here. Bloody shocking. That's what I mean, Holly. If them 30 come down, that's an extra. That would have rounded up to 145. You know what I mean? Which is potential next year if all them 30 are still training by next year and enter. So you could be looking at about nearly 200 novices next year.
Easy. Yeah,
you literally never know, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. It really is, and that means every year the pro class is going to get bigger and bigger. Yeah, it's exciting times. Phil Woody's in the chat. Even ladies and gents. Dan Earthquake's in. Yeah, I think we're all caught up on the chats at the minute. We've got 17 watching. 17's the average at the minute. We had like 40 something on the last show. Everyone just wanted to listen to Jason rant, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they don't like your Christmas jumper, either one.
This isn't really a Christmas one. I'll say this is more autumn. This one, so
it's all the seasons.
Yeah, it's borderline. We've got a house decorated autumn in a minute, so just got to match in. Trying to blend in.
Or if I'm around in December, I'll bring up one of my Christmas jumpers as well. I've got quite a few.
I've got about 30.
30.
Do you know what? By next year, I'll probably have enough to give out the top 3 jumpers in each class of the novice championships. I reckon so.
Well, you're not going to fit them, are you, with all the weight you're putting on? So yeah, might as well give them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a good thing. They're Waldo, aren't they? So they stretch a little bit. Do you know what? I'm gonna throw this in the chat. Right. Oh, is that it? What have we done there? Don't know if that's right.
I can't see anything in the chat for you, mate.
Right, I haven't sent it yet because I think that's the wrong link. I'm gonna try and get this link and throw it on the chat so anyone can jump in. See if anyone wants to jump on. Just got to jump on Instagram quickly, get the link.
We need to talk about some East versus West coming up this weekend as well. What a mega card that is.
Yeah, that's this Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we'll save the obvious one till last. One that I'm interested in is John Brozink and Sasho Andreev.
Yeah. Super exciting seeing John cut a bit more weight and going for that world title again.
I think that's going to be a pretty good match. But I think I've got John on that. I think I'm going to have to back John on that match.
Yeah.
I don't think John's going to fully go into Sasho's arm. I think Sasho's going to struggle to force John deep into a hook.
Mm-hmm.
But Sasho, isn't he? If he gets anyone in the hook, then they're in quite a bit of trouble. But there's a difference from a deep hook and a hook in the hand, and John's hand is immoral. So unless you can get him arm to arm, I don't see Sasho being able to beat him.
Okay, yeah, nice. What are you saying as a best of 5? You saying?
I'm gonna say John
3-1, something like that.
I'll say John 3-1. 3-1, yeah. But the thing as well, John's not scared to go anywhere. If John wins the first match, he's probably going to go where Sasho wants to go on the second match.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's just the sort of guy John is. All right, so right now, everyone getting the link to the chat. I think that's it.
Yeah, the link's in there. I can see that. Yeah, it's good.
If anyone wants to jump on, just click the link. Then we might let you in. We might not. Depends who you are. No, we're not like that. We'll let anyone in. What do you think, Tim? What do you think about that match?
What, the John and Sasho?
John Sasho, yeah.
Oh, who doesn't love watching John Paul? Absolutely. I couldn't really say as to where it's going to go. Yeah, I think I completely agree with what you're saying, though. Yeah, that John's hand is probably the defining force in that match, and Sasha maybe is just not quite enough there to get him where he wants him. But Yeah, maybe that first round will tell a lot if who gets the most fatigue. Um, I'm actually probably as equally excited for that one as I am to see Kurdigurli, Ongabayev and Todd Hutchins.
That's going to be
Another
a
world title,
screamer.
best of 5 right arm.
Oh, mate, that is going
Incredible.
to be a screamer.
Yeah.
Again, I think I'm going to go straight in. I think I'm going to say Hutchins for the win.
Just too much side, yeah.
I think so. Especially if it goes into a strap match and that strap's too tight. Todd can put in some ugly positions. We know where Ongabayev's going. I mean, if he can get the strap loose enough and enough break on the on Hutchins' fingers, if he can break Hutchins' fingers back, then he's in with a chance. But if he can't even break his tips backwards, then I think Todd's just going to run through him sideways with his wrist or without his wrist. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that Ongabayev, if he can, I think he's enough of a technician to get where he wants to with Todd. And I think we're in for a screamer.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
One of those matches for the ages, like Dave Chafee and Vitaly Lalatin a couple of years ago. Well, say last year probably at King of the Table.
Yeah, that was.
Left blood on the pegs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what's the weight cap for? Hang on a second. I think James Stewart is about to jump in.
Nice, the Claymore.
What's the? It is. Admit. Yeah. Do we know what the weight cap is?
Let me just find out because John was 95 kilos and that was the middleweight. This is a light heavyweight, so it's probably under 105 or 100. Let me just see if I can find out.
Here he is. What's going on, James? The volume. Nah, I can't hear you, mate. Not yet. Not yet. Nah, not yet, James. Not yet, mate.
Right, that's fixed.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello, mate.
Got you. How you doing, mate?
Good. Sorry for looking a bit homeless, but
Hey, mate, you see me? I'm still waiting for change. Oh. How you been, mate? How you feeling?
I'm all right. Just a bit done in, just training too hard, I think. 1 rep maxing every other day. So it's I should really try and put more effort into my arms rather than like my top roll move, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can't have too much top roll, can you?
Yeah. Yeah, like the right pronator's still a bit, meh. So it's just going to be jumping right inside with that one, probably.
Right.
The left, I'm just going to keep doing my. I'll just do what's, this move.
Yeah, that's good, mate. That's good. What are you weighing now, James?
I've gained a little bit of weight. I'm 160 now.
160.
Yeah, because I'm 1 rep maxing quite a lot, I get quite hungry, so I have to eat more. Like light training doesn't really spike my appetite too much. Like there's no incentive to eat. But if you're lifting heavy and you have to do again in 2 days, then you really have to eat.
That's like 2 of me, 160.
You know what it is? You have to eat good food as well.
I don't even eat that much compared to some people. Like I barely eat 5,000 calories a day. 4.5, maybe 5, if that. Some days 3.
I struggle to get like 4,000 or 5,000 down though. My average is probably about 3,000, 3,500 a day. But
yeah, is it for every 100 pounds you weigh to maintain that you have to eat 1,000 calories? I think is how I go by it. So if I weigh 360 pounds or 350, I just add another 1,000 calories on top of that, and that's 4,500 calories.
What do you do for work, James?
Nothing more money. Sometimes,
Okay.
but nothing like that.
Okay.
With this, to be honest, I couldn't really do it. I've got things are complicated at the home and stuff like that. It's not just because obviously can't find a job. There's things going on. But it is what it is, eh?
Absolutely, yeah.
You trade me.
No, at Tom with his with the roofing working, him and Jason, they're both expending calories just all day, working flat out.
Like I've worked on roofs before, like putting up scaffolding. Like they're like 30 kilos each at least. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Things well, it's like I said, I'm like my mindset at work. Say was trading that I'll work as hard as I can, so I am burning off a lot of calories anyway. I've got to eat 2,000 just to maintain like what I'm losing almost. I'm probably not losing 2,000 calories a day, but if that's why I started drinking a lot of the milk a lot of the time. When I'm on like 4 or 5 liters of milk, that's an extra like 3,000 calories in the day. And milk's just easy to drink. Like it's a lot easier for me to drink milk than it is to eat 5 meals in the day. You know what I mean? So that's the only way I can actually start piling on the weight like a lot. Other than that, I'm only doing like 2 liters a day and like 3 or 4 meals a day.
When I first started lifting weights a while ago, when I was 18, I used to drink that like just 4 pints of milk a day. You're in the work van and you rip a big stinking fart out, and everyone's like, "Get the hell out of here!"
Yeah.
5 liters of milk a day. You should be owning your own cow if you're going to drink that much milk. It's inordinate. That's crazy.
70 grams of protein in that.
Is there anyone in particular for the Pro Nationals, James, that you're hoping to meet or not meet, as the case may be?
Well, not meet Tom, because his style is very, that press, that sudden surge of side pressure. So, yeah, Tom, just pull under.
James, I assure you, mate, I'm going into that class and the feeling's mutual with you. I don't want to come across you.
Yeah, like I'd love to just get in a good war, right-handed, left-handed. Obviously, it's quite a lot of people. I don't know if Hightower's going to compete in it. Mantas, you, Mindas, Declan Dillon,
Kyle
is right there.
Maybe Kyle Hutchison. Not sure if he's coming.
I don't know. He's not going to pull left, but right hand, he could win it. You never know.
Sweet. My main thing this year, I don't care if I lose to everyone else. I just want to do something with Mindigus.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that he's known as being a man at the minute.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way through him. I'm nowhere near as strong as him, but I just want to see if I'm right in what I'm thinking. And,
like last time I tried to go through his fingers. This time I think that instead of opening his fingers this way, I think I'm just going to try and turn the wrist that way. Like just come up that way, Yeah,
because his hand and wrist, his fingers and his wrist are really strong with that cupping motion, especially.
Yeah.
And especially when he's taller in it. He's quite agile for a big guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's quick. So and he can read you as well. Like if he knows what you're doing on the setup, he'll counter it on the setup before it even goes.
Yeah. So it's,
I think that's one of the best options that you just said. Then trying to go for the over supinated straight wrist, flat wrist.
Mm-hmm.
But even that's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easier said than done. Especially if you're injured or ideally, I would love to maybe have another month or two just to recuperate, but that's what it is, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
How much rest are you going to give before the Nationals, James?
10 days.
10 days, yeah.
Yeah, that's I sometimes in the last couple of years would be like 7 weeks, but I would always have to take some ibuprofen or dihydrocodeine and just keep taking them, and then I'd feel good. But if shouldn't really have to do that, so I'll take 10 days off. That'll be my last session. It'll be like a heavy arm, like a really heavy session. Not 1 rep max session, but for tension time, like holding a dumbbell or getting in a side presser position for 10 seconds and then call it a day.
Will you do complete rest for the 10 days then? Or will you do like live blood flow, recovery sort of thing?
I would like to think I've got the, like I always promise myself that I get the bands out and just do blood flow, but it never happens.
Always down to a max.
Like my kids are like, my son's like 28 kilograms. He's like 4.5. So picking him up and playing with him, and that's active recovery for me because you have to pick him up 20 times a day. And if you've got other stuff going on for the day, and I'm quite lazy with recovery, to be honest. I just prefer taking a nap or, just have an extra protein shake.
Yeah, exactly.
And are you finding that the traveling down for events like to Birmingham, because you guys were staying the night before last time, are you finding that the sleep's okay before an event like that, sleeping away from home in the familiar environment?
My sleep, I used to suffer really bad with sleep. Like before an event, sometimes I would be no well and no sleep for 2 days. For Wales with Mindas, I never slept at all. It didn't help sleeping above Evan Burgoyne and BLM, but you were next door actually, Tom. But yeah, like sleep's been quite bad. It's only been the last couple of months getting my nerves settled off competing more. That's helped.
Okay.
Just not being so twitchy on the table, not thinking about it too much the night before.
I was thinking even that like burns energy and stuff. Like if you're overthinking it, over panicking, like worrying.
Like when my adrenaline spikes and I've had no sleep, I know for a fact after a competition, every competition I've been sick after it's finished. Just the adrenaline peaks, and then eventually it has to come down, and I'm like, blah, everywhere. But the last 2 competitions have been fine. I've had like 5-6 hours sleep. That's fine for me.
No. You think that's being more active that's helping you with that?
Yeah, like this competition, there's not so much pressure to win. It's just if I win, perfect. But I'm only 5 years in the sport, so is what it is. Like I won the Arm Gods belt, so now I've got like a wee bit of confidence now, pulling more. Yeah.
I mean, especially after your match with Pork Chop. I mean, bloody hell, mate, that must have given you a little bit of a boost.
Yeah. Like it didn't really I said this to a couple of people. Like there's about 5, 6, maybe more people in the UK that could have done that. It was just my style just made it look a bit easier than it. He's got a small hand, and it just the direction he was going. Just he was giving me his hand while I was pronation. It was, but like I was saying, like guys like you, David Bradford, a lot of people, Dean Bolt would have done the same thing, in my opinion.
Like I said as well, styles make matches. People are only strong where they're strong. If they can't access where they want to be, then it's from them.
Like the last round, I kind of felt like I wasn't focused enough, and he got me in a hook, so I just back pressured him off the pad. But like I felt like if I just set up better, that wouldn't have happened. It would have just been the same as the first 2 rounds. But it's what it is.
You feel that you relaxed a little bit on the 3rd round?
Yeah.
Or do you think you just made a good adjustment? Or
like I relaxed a bit. Like I was giving him, I was cupping too much, so I was giving him something to bite onto. Like I was holding on to him a little bit more rather than him holding on to me. And when I went sideways, it was almost the hook was engaged, and I was like, "Oh, bugger!" So that's when I came in tight and just pulled him off the pad. Yeah,
that's good. Though, even when you're like up 2-0, then you got into a little sticky point where you thought, "Oh shit, might be in a bit of trouble," but you stay calm.
Yeah.
Collect it.
Before I'd be open, pulling the top row like underneath the table, but these days it's just
in a panic to try and win.
I thought, you know what? I'll take myself to the corner of the pad and let him, in a small lever, run out of runway. You know, like you can't go anywhere else. So yeah,
How
just
do you like them 9-inch pads?
I think they're good for me. I can lat drag a bit more, but if someone doesn't have a cup or not a strong cup, I think it would. I think that would probably not suit them. You know, I just feel like with those pads, you really need to have this and the ability just to. If you've got a weak wrist, I can feel like that long pad at the front and the back's not going to do any good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just something
But I don't think I've I can't remember if it was on the big pads when I pulled Bradford. I think it was on normal pads.
that was 2 years ago, yeah, or was it January?
That was January.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't actually know if we had the big pads in.
Uh,
That one.
I can't remember. I just watched it, to be honest, on the telly. I never bothered going.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've not actually been on them 9-inch pads yet, so I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure what they're like. That's why I was asking your opinion because of it's.
They're not as slippery as the, you know, like it's not got that. It's like it's not got that leathery feel to it.
Yeah,
Like
a little bit more cushion, sort of thing.
Yeah. You get, and you're not with the normal pads. You know how like sometimes you try and slide your elbow along it, and it just rubs off it. With these pads,
Yeah.
you can skim it along without having to worry about that burning feel, or you know, it's like a fabricy feel to it rather than like a leather.
Yeah,
You can just a wee hop, skip, and jump to the left without having to worry about your elbow not having enough chalk in it. But
yeah, that's it.
yeah, and yeah, like right now, obviously, I want to win nationals, but I'm really focused on the March match. That's the one I'm really focused on.
Yeah,
I'll take
that's it, mate.
4 months of training for that, or maybe 3 months just hard graft and see what happens.
Have you been looking him up? Have you been doing a bit of research on that?
Yeah. Obviously, he's a big guy, but I think in 3 months, I don't think he'll beat my hand. I think he'll crumble under the pressure with that.
I think so. You put it. Is it Matai?
Yeah.
Rangi, yeah. I think you'll. I mean, you see some of his lifting and gym and he's benching like plus 200 kilo, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like 300.
He's a gym monster, but arm wrestling's a different game.
Yeah, like.
And his problem is over there, like he's the best in New Zealand. So, because he's the best and he's the strongest there, he's not really got many people to actually learn from, unless he's traveling to like Australia to go see Bowen or other countries. And it's quite difficult for him to improve like that. He can only improve on a strength level unless he's tapping into that.
Like
being pretty smart.
Like my plan is just to learn to keep tall on the table and keep tight, and when he hits, just stay solid and let him go under me. That's it. I think he's going to do his king's move, but if I've got the lever length and just stay tall, I don't know. Maybe that's oversimplifying it.
I take it you've seen his match versus Mindigus.
I've seen his match. Yeah, and King of the Table as well. For a big guy, he's been arm wrestling for 12 years. He said in King of the Table. So I don't know if he's peaked strength wise. Seems like a nice guy, but I've only been arm wrestling 5 years, so I'm thinking if I can get good training in for the next 6 months, I don't think he'll beat my hand. That's it. I don't think he's going to push my hand back.
Yeah, you might have been training for 12 years, like Curtis has been training for 12 years. You know. So in the next 4 months, you think you're just gonna be literally just stacking all your training chits into that hand? Keep going with what you're doing.
I am going to try and get a table so I can like pull like a karate more often, or just go to the gym. I've never been to the gym consistently in 5 years, so I'm going to build my shoulder strength up and just focus on staying tall in the middle of the table and just trust my hand. Because before I wouldn't trust my hand, and I would always like lean back, like try and like catch top roll. But now I'm starting to realize, you know what? Maybe they're not going to beat my hand. Just try your luck and go first.
Yeah, cool. What about you, Tom? If you were going to be facing Matarangi in 4 months, what would you look to change on your training? How would you make any changes?
Honestly, mate, the only thing I do with someone like that is try and get it done quick as possible. Someone a lot bigger than me, I don't want to be getting into a power match with them.
Yeah.
If it turns into a power match, I want to make sure it's on A side. Just so it's in my favour, I've got less chance of burning than they have. I've got more chance of burning them if I'm on top of their arm. There's only one person that can attack. There's one person attacking, one person defending all the time. If you want to make sure you're the one that's always attacking.
So super explosive off the go.
Yeah, explosive off the go. Try and lock position. If I land on his bicep, then it'll just be a matter of holding there if I can't break through it because of it's like holding a dumbbell there, isn't it? It don't matter how heavy it is, you hold it there for too long, your arm's going to go.
Yeah.
And
on the setup, would you be setting like pressures into his hand to make him think you're going to go somewhere to bait a trap to then come a different angle, or would you just look to be neutral and just explode into your hit?
I would probably try and it's difficult because it all depends on the opponent. Like a lot of heavyweights, I would want to try and take their hand. But if their hand's too strong, I wouldn't even attempt it. I'd just be trying to take it straight to their arm. But using the hand to supinate them onto the bicep.
Because you've met him, haven't you, Mate, before at Iron House too, I think. Did you get a chance to shake hands with him or grip up them at all?
Yeah. I'll speak to Mate quite a bit. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, actually.
Yeah.
He's strong. He's got a silly amount of potential there.
I know his hand is incredibly thick. I've seen like videos of his thumb base is just like it looks like a cricket ball.
Yeah.
Base of his thumb.
Yeah, he's a big guy. But I favour James for that match, 100%. I really do. I think James is a bit too technical, just a bit stronger. I think James is just that bit stronger than him and a bit more technical. I think, like you said, Matai is going to struggle. If Matai can't get out of James's hand, he's going to end up in an open King's move. And yes, it's good night from there, really, in my opinion.
Like, I think it will go there, eh? Like, I genuinely believe if I can get 3 months training in without having to worry about stopping for a comp, pull in, 2-3 days off, train for 3 weeks. It hasn't really been a strength phase. It's just been getting the skills down, competition experience. It hasn't really been a training camp for training strength yet.
Exactly. Don't need to be at the minute. Don't need to be. You could afford to be on the table for another 3 or 4 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you don't want to wait that long before you start getting the strength in them right areas and that. But start being as technical, wrestle like you're the weakest guy. Basically, be as technical as you can until you get to a point you're like, right, I've got to strengthen up this angle. I've got to strengthen up this angle. You know where you've got to start maxing then, depending on the opponents that you go against, that them certain moves don't work with just on a technical level where you need a bit more strength behind them. I think that's the best way to improve quick.
I've done more table time in the last 6 months than all of them.
The last
before.
5 years.
100%. Incredible.
Like me
and the games that you've seen.
Like for a while, me and Pavel were doing table time twice a week with weights in those sessions before. It was sore, but and then I'm training with Sean as well, so that's what it is. You just adapt, and like me and Sean's training is just simple. Just keep it as simple as we can, and no mucking around.
Are you doing a lot of technical training on the table, or are you allowing? Are you allowed? Because obviously you're bigger than these guys, aren't you?
Well,
so are you trying to tweak up your technique and that still, or are you sort of letting them attack your weaknesses?
Well, when I found out I had the Curtis match, Sean did say left-handed, we're not going to pull hook. He just took me with both hands and he goes, I need you to post back and pronate. And he didn't open me up to the point I was like all the way open. He just says, we're just going to hammer this move every time left-handed. And I feel like it worked because you're not getting opened up to the point that you can't recover. But if you just stick tight and you just pronate, the moment he stopped me, he says, right, back to the centre. And sometimes he wouldn't let me move, sometimes he would. Right-handed, he knows my pronator's a bit done in. So it's just a, cut and just keep the pronator a little bit. You can't just give that up, but just cut and just drag. Really, that's do it faster each time if we can.
It's like a really smart way to train, actually. Yeah, because I think
Like-
a lot of people that what feels like effective training and what is effective training are two different things, aren't they? And you've got to be smart with making sure you can maximize that table to make gains.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna my riser strength is so weak right now. It's really the pain that stops the riser. I can barely rise 30 kilos on my right without pain kicking in.
Where's the pain? Is it in your wrist or?
Brachiovidialis, the forearm area. The pain, it just switches on. You're like, oh, another day, Ken. Deep heat doesn't really help. I've done high reps. It hasn't really helped. It's slowly getting better, but I think nutrition might help it.
Just the right foods and that.
What does help it, funnily enough, is doing some table time. It's so warm when I do the riser lifts, the pain's in half.
Exactly.
And then when I go back home,
you're getting the blood flowing into the right places.
Yeah, when I go back home, I try the riser lift. It feels so much better. You try it, boom, it's back to normal again. You're like, oh, that's not exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So, just warming up on the table. It's good just doing one-on-one because you can get a proper amount of table time in without waiting 10 minutes to get on a table or 20 minutes.
That's the thing as well. At training, you got to be, especially if you're limited on tables, you got to treat it like your table's like, come on and take me off it. If you want to train on it, take me off. It's my table.
Yeah, like that's one problem sometimes I have is like if like Edinburgh Club is good, like it's a bit of a hassle for me getting there sometimes, and if David's not there, they just pull me both hands, and I still appreciate that, but for me sometimes the one-on-one's better because you can arm wrestle for 3 times, like each side, have a 2-minute break, go at it again and again, and it's only been 45 minutes past.
Yeah.
And your arms are done.
Mm-hmm.
But with a club, you could be there for 2-3 hours.
There is something you could do as well that you can get. Like if you're going against opponents and that, you need them to have a bit more for you, should we say. There's a couple of things you can do. You literally got it's a bit like Rocky training. So you can tie a bit of string around your arm, like just right the way around your arm there, like a really, really delicate bit of string. If your arm opens the slightest bit, that string's going to snap. So you've got to make sure you maintain. You've got to make sure that string doesn't. People are going to hit your arm. You can't let your arm move. Out. Your arm moves like that. That string's breaking.
Yeah.
So you've got to focus completely. No matter how strong they are, anyone's capable of just going like that quickly to you. So you've got to make sure you're maintaining. It's all locked up completely. Yeah. And another thing is letting your opponent wear something like that, but the reverse. Getting to wear a belt or a strap around their arm.
Mm-hmm.
So their arm's not opening at all. No matter what you do, you can take their hand, but you got to pull the whole body weight over. You know what I mean?
Like what sometimes me and Sean do is like Sean's got like a really good like bicep for his weight, and he's, well, to be honest, any weight. You do the wrist to wrist.
Yeah.
That's like he's got a long forearm as well. A lot of people don't realize, like 86 kilo guy, like my forearm's only like 2 centimeters longer than his. That's it.
Yeah.
But he's got a really good. That's his move. So like he does open me up. If I'm off a wee bit, or even if we're both the same, he can do a good job that way. Yeah. But it's a bit doesn't really massage my ego too much, you know, getting opened up by a 90-kilo guy,
I mean, that's the thing, though. It just goes to show, though, it's body weight doesn't matter. It's about if you're in the right position. I'm sure that if you're on his arm in a certain position, there's no chance he's going to hold you. And it's probably the same way around. If he gets a certain position in your arm, there's no chance you're going to hold him.
Yeah,
just be angry about the position you're at.
Well, right now we're just going to, for like competition, like we're going to say him like he's not going to top row anybody, maybe, but you know he's got his move, and we're just focusing on that. Like how many top rollers are really in the 86 kilo class? I mean, a couple. Craig,
is he doing the British then?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, he's looking really good right now. Yeah,
nice.
Like he's got his abs and that showing through now, and I'm like, man, I'm so jealous. I'm like, man, that's.
We seen Kieran Morrison at 86. Is he back? Do we know?
I don't really talk to anybody else apart from Sean and Ryan.
maybe Connor in the chat can confirm or deny.
Connor will probably do 86. He might do well there. Ken, it's.
I think Connor's doing 75s, isn't he?
Nah.
No.
86.
Is
Nice.
he 86 this year?
86. Kieran and Connor are both doing that, I'm sure.
86 is going to be stacked out this year.
Like the novices, like 30 guys showed up. So I'm thinking if some of those guys cross over and do the 86, you know, you'd have a 30 man pro class in 86 kilo class.
To be honest, there's a few names that I've got a feeling that I pretty much know are going into it. So you've got Craig Sanders, Harry Leal, Jason Hill, Sean Patterson, Connor Sale, Anil Najran, Dan Constantine. That's just a few off the top of my head there. Any one of them guys pretty much got a chance of winning.
Yeah.
And then you got everyone else that's going to put the fatigue on everyone through them rounds. Like
if two guys have a war, you know, if the top four guys have a war in their first two matches, you know, that could leave some room for like an unknown guy to come through and never know.
Exactly. You might see a high level novice win the British pros this year.
Like some of those novices were like coming through like bodybuilders, like conditioned, lean. They were on point with their water cuts. You know, I'm like, man, this sport's getting more professional. You know, like, some of them weren't even drinking. They're like, oh, I've got to go back and train on Monday, and I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I think I'm getting to the stage now of my diet, and that's been rubbish. Like since I started, basically, my lifestyle, everything's been crap. I'm getting to the stage now where I feel like I'm falling apart, and I've got to start having a better diet in that, just to help heal and recover better. I think, but yeah, for now though, I'm going to give it one more year of like loads of calories, loads of cake, then start taking care of myself a little bit more. I've just seen a comment from Connor then. I'll be in the top 20 in the 86.
I'm sure he'll do better than that.
Yeah, I heard there's 19 entering as well, so that'd be good. It'd be good to see Connor at 86. Good to see what he can do. I think Enrico Tomasi's in the 86 as well. I think you were saying.
Yeah. So basically, all the Scottish guys. The whole Scottish team is going to be 86.
Even you.
Riddle, riddle with some sort of virus.
I mean, like I said, that 86 classes. I mean, who's going to be in 75s then? Who's going to win 75s if Connor and Anil are coming up to the 86s? Like, is Billy Davis going 75 or?
I wouldn't have thought so. Alexander from Bristol, aka Meerkat, he'll be in 75s this year, he said, for the pros. He's going up. He could do very well.
He's going 85s?
75s. He's a 65 kilo guy normally, but he's going up to 75s, yeah.
Right, yeah. mean, Tom Wilson, he'll be in it, I'm sure.
Yep. Robbie Byrne won the 75s on the right, very dominant.
I'll tell you what, mate, that would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all if people get locked in with him. Christ, yeah. Just from what I've said, I've never met the guy. I've never gripped up with him. But from how he's looking and that, as soon as he gets his side pressure engaged and he's on it, he looks strong. Strong.
Tim, are you entering the 75s?
Probably, mate. If the left is healed up a bit more, yeah.
You'll be all right.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, the thing with you, Tim, as well, it's like you said at novices, you were more catching. And it was only if the match stopped that you went onto the attack. Sorry, mate?
Yeah, pretty much always catching. Too slow.
Yeah. Whereas it's like I said earlier, there's only one person that can attack.
Yeah.
And the only chance you're going to get to attack is if you stop their attack. But if you can't stop their attack, you're done. So you want to make sure you attack first. So it's not a matter of if you think someone's really quick, if you don't want to collide with them, you just be even quicker. So I mean, in theory, so they've got to hold on. They're going to be busy on holding on to you rather than trying to hit through you, because no one wants to collide with another hit. Do you know what I mean? And if they think you're going to be faster, if they think you're on it more, they're not going to try and hit through you. They're going to try and maintain you. And if someone's trying to hold you compared to trying to attack you, thank you very much. Do you know what I mean?
Like, go first as well. Try and go first. Like, sometimes it's not about speed. It's just go first.
It's knowing where you want to go as well, sort of thing. Obviously, the more you enter these competitions, the more you know the opponents. The more you know where you can go.
Yeah, and I'm definitely still trying to find my kind of lane for how I want to pull, because it's great training with yourself and with Jason, but I tend to sort of pull in the same sort of ways there, if that makes sense. It's really hard to switch it up entirely, but because obviously the different styles you sort of slot into. But another thing, actually, weirdly, but like kind of being someone that's known as a novice on like Instagram and stuff, you're almost on people's hit list a little bit because they've seen a lot more content of me side table stuff, and it's not like doctored or anything, but they're mainly seeing highlights. You don't tend to post clips that are shite, if that makes sense. So some guys were kind of surprised that you're pulling novices, like just 2 years in, I'm not like mega, so you're kind of on the list almost.
It's like that Paul Italia syndrome, how like he was big in Instagram for a while, but he'd never done a competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now he's gone off winning like 5 novice trophies in a row.
Yeah, and they're all saying he's far too much for people.
But it's just because he's been big in the social media side, and you might be in the same boat. Like, you've just been putting out content, helping people out. You're everywhere.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, exactly that. So, training hard, doing what everyone else is doing, but not for a particularly long length of time.
The problem, I was going to say, the problem with things like that as well, though, is that can get in people's heads a lot. People just presume, because if you've got a big presence, they presume, right, he's there. And when they come against you, they're about, I'm probably not going to beat this guy because he's.
From what I'm probably thinking the opposite, because I've seen them pull before and thinking they're really solid as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's you can't let it get in your head, sort of thing. Yeah. I've gone into competitions before where I've been really in deep water, and I didn't have a clue who was in my class, who I went against, and I've done really well against guys that I had no right doing well with, just because I didn't know who they were.
Didn't you say your match with Gashevsky was like that years ago?
Yeah, that's a good point. X-Men 2014 or 15, I think. I was literally in a class with Joseph Levi, Svetlin Gachevsky, Viral Dobrin, loads of beasts there. Svetlin I ended up having a battle with. I had no idea who he was. Levi, first time I met him, I had no idea who he was. I beat him on the day left arm. A few other guys, Oleg Svetkov, I had a battle with him. He's a monster from Ukraine. But like I said, though, just because I didn't know who they were, I didn't fear it. And that's why I've done well, I think. If I knew who they were, I was at a stage in my career still then where I was like, I was hungry for it. But if I was aware who I was going against, I probably wouldn't have given them big hits that I was giving them. Do you know what I mean? It's like I was saying with you, like you said about fearing, like hitting people that are higher. If you don't know they're higher than you, you've got no fear, and you'll fucking give them everything, and that makes the difference.
Would you say ignorance is bliss?
Yeah, it is. It literally is.
And being popular on Instagram is like winning at Monopoly.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I said, the bigger you can big yourself up massively, and then if everyone believes you, you can tell everyone that you're a world champion. Like obviously this day and age with social media and that, but you can tell everyone, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and then majority of people will believe you. Then it'll be Chinese whispers. Everyone will be talking about you. And then all of a sudden you're on this massive pedestal because you've been saying and everyone else has been saying, oh, he's here, when actually you're right down there. You're just telling everyone that you're there and everyone believes you. And then when people come against you, they're going to fear you, like I said, because they think you're up there and they won't even try against you. So it's important to try and get out of your head and just realise that everyone's beatable, basically.
Here's something for you, right? See, is Adrian shown up to Nationals?
Dwyer?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think so. I think him and I think James Wall's going to be chasing him.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking if Adrian doesn't show up, it could be a good chance that James Wall enters the Supers as well, eh?
He can, but I'll be coming out of it. Well, I don't care. I'm taking this match really serious with James, and I'm looking forward to the match with Mindigus. But if James Wall decides to come into the Supers, I will be jumping out because I'm not putting him till January, and he's not knowing anything about what I'm doing. Nothing.
Like for me and James Wall, I would still give him the nod. For me, like if he's pulling me, I would say, "Came at James, you would beat me, right?" But just because he's speed at the moment. But if the match stopped, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I think I would just give him the nod, just saying you beat me before, quite. You got me a good one, and can't really say anything.
You wasn't. I mean, obviously James Wall's an animal, isn't it? He's a monster. If anyone's beaten James Wall in any weight, then fair play to you. You fully deserve it, and you're a monster yourself. Mm-hmm. But what about this version of you now going against the James Wall you went against then? Do you rate yourself more now than what you was when you went against James, like table IQ and all that?
If I never had this injury, a lot better. If I never had the injury, I would be a bit more confident. Yeah. But with the injury, it's more like it's just when that pain kicks in, it automatically, like toothache, it just wants to open up a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful with the rest, the high reps, proper nutrition, and I'll maybe have a few halves of whatever is kind of at the bar, that'll take the edge off.
Yeah, exactly. Just relaxing you a little bit more, isn't it?
Like I'm not going to get steaming or nothing. It's just, like a couple of doubles and some ibuprofen, dihydrocodeine, just because there's not going to be a lot of matches in that class. Like maybe like 12 guys maybe show up. Maybe I don't know.
Dan Earthquake's dropped a few names in the chat there of some of the other supers. There's some guys that are heavier than you, even James in there.
Yeah, Rob. Rob's resting. Sorry. Be a few guys in there. Yeah.
Ryan Francis, 160-ish. Sean O'Hagan, 180. Big Rab, 172.
Ryan Francis, he won't be showing up.
Does he not know?
Nah, he's got his own training going on right now. We can talk about that in a bit. He's into, those springs you can bend, the twisters,
like car springs.
Like you hold them with both hands and you pull them into each other.
Yeah.
He's into doing that sort of stuff. So he's bending like 100-kilo spring.
What do you mean? You got a hand on each spring and you're pulling them in?
Yeah, like the chest expander things years ago.
Yeah, like the.
Yeah, but there's like a wee niche group that people close them, and he can close like 100, 110
Okay.
kilos. They're quite different. I couldn't even close 100. I could close 90, but he can close 20 kilos above me.
How big is that? How sounds stupid. How big is the actual spring? 'Cause obviously, the shorter the lever, the harder it is, isn't it?
Just under a meter. Nah, 2.5 foot, 3 foot. If you go on like power twisters or something, they're called. It's called Hoyan strength or something. Like Ryan's been dedicating a lot of time to closing them. If you pull them the other way up, like instead of closing it down the way, you can pull it up. Maybe that might transfer over to arm wrestling. You know, if you're pronating up the way.
Mm.
But yeah, he's getting there. Just confidence to get on the table again.
Yeah. That's it.
It's the flashback of picking up one of those from my uncle's house as a kid and bending. I think getting my tit caught in it as it sprung back out, losing a bit of skin.
That nipple hair.
Yeah, good days.
I never had the spring. I had one where it was just like a flat bar and you just like push it in straight. It wasn't like a spring that you had to bend up or anything. It was just like a flat.
Yeah. The crossbow or something it's called, or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Bowflex.
I used to put my elbows. I used to like drag it from here like that, and then just drag my elbows in, just like try and close it. And that's when I was like 15, 16, something like that. I don't even know what it is now, but yeah, that's the only thing like that I ever trained on, other than the arm wrestling, obviously. Who else is in the 105s then? Because I think I heard that Adrian is going. So it would be Adrian. Bradford's not going, is he?
No.
Popescu might be there. Popescu, Bradford, Popescu and O'Dwyer. They meet on the left. That could be an interesting match.
I think Noah Burton's a 105 guy as well. So newly new pro. I think he'll be there, seeing what he can do with that press of his.
Is Elliot Eccles pulling?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
If he is, I mean, this is the thing as well. Dwyer will want a bit of revenge on Elliot, won't he? Because Elliot got him at the 21 British.
Yeah, that was quite cheeky, eh?
Yeah. He got us both, didn't he, Elliot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Elliot was slapping a lot of people about the way. It's he's got decently strong in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's coming on really quick. He's had hard paper around though, isn't he?
I don't want to say that name. I might look quite bad myself, so I'm only 30.
Well, my instructor earlier thought I was like 42, 43. I was like, gee.
You're only like 2 years older than me.
How old are you, James?
30.
30. Yeah. I'm 32 now. Yeah.
No. Aye. So the only reason why I thought you were older is because when I YouTubed you, like when I first started arm wrestling, your name been going back 12 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
I thought it really must be older than me, like 5 years. But then I'm like, oh, it's actually
our same age.
Yeah.
I'll say we're the same age. It makes me feel better.
Well, but it's 2 years, really.
Yeah. It's I've only just turned 32 anyway, so it's basically 30 still.
Aye.
It's all right. I think there's a few people though. I don't know how old a few people are. Like James Ward, I don't know how old he is. Thing is, though, arm wrestling's one of the things that age don't really matter. Like unless you start when you're in your 50s or whatever. I think you can start at pretty much any age and get to a really decent level if you're getting the right training in.
Todd Hutchings was 35.
Yeah.
When he started arm wrestling.
Yeah, that's it. And how old is he now? He's still going strong, isn't he? He's
like 57.
That's what I mean.
Something like that,
He's one of the best in the world at the minute.
Ridiculous.
That's what I'm holding on to. I started at the same age as Todd Hutchings did, so there's hope. There's hope.
That's the thing, like you just never know, do you? And the thing as well, that he would have been going for it as much as he could. He would have been chasing it.
He's pulling Ongobayev, yeah.
Ongobayev, yeah. How do you see that one going, James? We were talking about that just before you got on.
If Todd brings his shape he did the last time with John, I think Todd can win that.
Mm.
But it's just maintaining that strength maybe at that older age. I don't know. If he doesn't bring that type of strength, if more, I don't think he's going to win.
He's got the old man strength and the stubbornness, though, isn't he? Now.
Yeah, he needs that strength, like in the, like, you know, he's not going to win because he's a technical genius on the table. I don't even like saying technical and like arm wrestling wise sometimes, because at that level, they should both know enough to get by. But I do think Todd wins if he brings that John package, if a little bit more. He'll win that, but never know.
That's what I'm saying. I think weight's going to be a big difference on this. Like, what's the weight cap on it? I think if you get a big Ongobayev coming into it,
I think it's under 105. I think it's under 105.
105, right? Ongobayev's quite a tall guy, though, isn't he? So
yeah.
Right. I would favour Todd for it. Still.
Yeah, I'd imagine Ongobayev's got a bit of weight on him. But I think unless you're much bigger than Todd, then he's got strength for anyone in the world. I think it will come down to Ongobayev's setup and getting into his hands, and as you say about getting a good strap.
Yeah, definitely. Because I said, seeing some of the opponents that Ongobayev's gone against in the past, like we all know what we can do.
Yeah, he beat Alexei, didn't he?
Like we've seen what Todd's done against Brzezinski lately, and it don't matter what position the hand's in on that man. If he wants to drive, he'll drive, and if he commits, he's not giving up, is he, until he wins? That's a very difficult and stubborn man to beat.
Yeah, I think Ongobayev's still quite young himself, so you know, he beat Alexei, didn't he, at 2018 at the top 8.
Alexei
Kadecha.
Oh yeah. And, I didn't see that much. I heard about it. I didn't see it though.
Like there was a massive weight gap there, wasn't there? So you know.
I mean, he's it's what you get for being a Kazakh, isn't it? You just born a monster.
Yeah, like 2,000 people in a club. You know, like you've got like 500 people in your weight class.
That's the what is it? Shadara.
Mm-hmm.
Shadara club. I mean,
you know,
I've seen some of their videos, them trading.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Ridiculous.
The governments over there have done a really good job of getting people involved in sport. So like they do wrestling in school, Olympic weightlifting, and then they get into arm wrestling, and it's like, you know.
I mean, they've got kids in it. They've got like 4 or 5-year-old kids, like loads of them in there, in the gym, just watching and getting involved in it. It's Ongobayev's probably only 12 right now. I mean, he's just
like I was speaking to this with Sean a while ago. You know how in WAF only the top 2 guys can compete in each weight class, in each arm.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they sent a club to the IFA where you could just send in like 500 guys?
No. That's why they're staying over at WAF. That's why they're not allowed over.
Like they would just clean house, in my opinion.
100%. I remember when I first started doing the Europeans and Worlds in that, like when I was a junior, like 2000, from about 2007, even before that, up until I want to say like 2012, 2013, but probably a bit later than that. It was the Russians that were all feared. Like it was all about the Russians at the Worlds and the Europeans. Like if you beat the Russians, then you're sick. You're pretty sick. It's all about the Kazakhs now.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, if you're coming against a Kazakh, it don't matter if you know them. If you don't know them, It don't matter. You know they're an animal, and you know you're in a bit of trouble.
But you know, the average guy that looks at them off the street, they go, "Well, he looks quite weak." You know, it's a. But if you're an arm wrestler, you know he's on the world stage for a reason.
Yeah, exactly that. But the thing is, as well, though, the competition, the level's so tight, and there's so many of them there. There's not actually much in it.
Yeah.
Between them guys and the guy that's like ranked 30th, say.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit of an exaggeration, probably, but you've probably got like top 1 and top 10, all the 1 to 10. It's probably only a little technical difference between them all.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they let the more popular guy through who really needs to get in the world championships to beat a certain guy, but you know, we're talking like a couple of percent, but not much, yeah.
I mean, some of the weight classes, you see the same guys over and over, don't you, every year, year in, year out. But if you look at some of the weight classes as well, it's different guys all the time, every year.
Yeah.
I remember that with the Russians a lot. There's some weight classes, you'd see the same Russian year in, year out, clearing up or top 3 or whatever all the time. And then you just get the new ones every single year, and you're just like, who's this guy? Where's he come from? Like, never heard of him before, and he's just winning the worlds. And then the next year, he don't even qualify. Someone else qualifies.
It's like who did Cedrus get beat off? You know, the Swiss comp left-handed.
Reno Masick.
Yeah, he's came out of nowhere for me anyway. I hadn't.
He's 19, isn't he? Crazy.
Ridiculous. Again, it's how do you get that strong?
I think you have to start the training at that kind of pre-pubescent, ideally ages. Start getting technique down, and then their body just grows into this stimulus that you're at that peak time when all that growth hormone and testosterone's coursing through the veins. You know, you can train and recover so quick. And I think the guys in the UK that are those higher sort of levels, like Tom was starting at sort of 15. You got to have in this country. I think you've got to have parents that are arm wrestlers at that higher level to sort of get their kid involved enough. It's not just about dragging your kid down, but it's having them see what you're doing and have it to aspire to. And I think that's what's happening with Joey and Elijah Finity over at Milton Keynes Club. Joey's just turned 16. His brother Elijah's massive frame just turned 15. They're absolutely coming on leaps and bounds every couple of weeks, and they'll be tearing it up in the adults in the PAAs in a couple of years' time. I think that's what's happening abroad in those sort of state-funded academies. Is you've got parents who are high-level arm wrestlers taking their kids along at 4, 5, and 6, and their bodies are just adapting for it. And by the time they're 13, 14, and they're starting to grow into their frame, they're just absolute weapons. They're so explosive. They've got no fear. They're conditioned already, and then that strength comes in, and it's just whereas we usually start as adults kind of strong, but trying to find lanes to put down that power and be technical, whereas the kids start the way around.
Yeah, you know, like when you're at that age, and like if you do have like a little bone, like micro fractures of the bone, they'll grow back stronger, and you know, it's like
they don't really break because they're flexible because it's how kids' bones work. They don't become brittle like ours.
And like the Chinese weightlifting team, like it's something similar as well. They literally put you in a camp and you cannot leave. Like, you're not allowed to leave. It's like you are your. It's like in Muay Thai, the breadwinners are 9 years old.
You have to. They've got to do it. They ain't got. You're locked up. Like I said, they're in a camp. When you're in a camp, you're not leaving camp. You got to do what you're told to do. You got no choice. I think that's a lot of it there as well. Like I was saying, a lot of people, when you're training yourself in the gym or whatever, you got a choice of how hard you train, and a lot of people won't train as hard as you actually need to improve. A lot of people train muscular based. When I was talking to you earlier, James, about it, it's all the strength and the tendons that you need for the arm wrestling. And I think as well, it's like if you start a new job, I've said this a few times as well, start a new job on site, never worked on site before, you got to dig the hole. You got to dig like a 4-meter test hole, say, whatever. And you got to do it in a day. You can either give yourself a choice to like, all right, I can either do this over a few days, or I can just get it over and done with as fast as possible. Get it done. I've got another one to do. I've got another one to do tomorrow. So I mean, that's the mindset that you got to push yourself as hard as you need to.
like each day does count, in my opinion. It's like a 3 months of training. It might seem like a long time, but it's gone in a blink of an eye. Like long term.
It's I know I was always like pushing myself, to be honest. Like even when we first started the club up again, we was doing 1 day a week. Then after a short amount of time, we're like, no, it's not enough. 2 days a week. This is when we were training in the kitchen. That it was me, Jason Hill, his brother Sylvan, Gary Brown, all them, and everyone was up for it. I was like, right, fuck it, let's do 3 days a week. And you tell people 3 days a week, like hard, 2 hours a session. Everyone's like, well, fuck it, and yeah, it hurts, but until you get over it, then you feel like you're ready to step out to 4 days a week because you force yourself to adapt.
Yeah.
And the conditioning you got then after just pushing through that pain barrier, it's that pain barrier, isn't it? When people start feeling pain, they think, oh, it's enough. When you just got to break through it, carry on, blank your mind out, get it done. And that's the best way to improve, in my opinion. If you give yourself a choice, you're not going to do it. And
you need to put an option. Like for me, it wasn't so much about table time; it was getting competition more.
Yeah.
So like just getting those ready goes, getting beat at the start of the year, and then just getting used to it. Like it is hard. We don't really train ready goes, but at a competition, it's just you're doing it every month anyway.
It's the same sort of thing as well. It's competition, training, the same sort of thing as that. Pushing yourself in training, that it hurts losing.
No.
But if you worry about that pain losing, you get some people like, oh no, I'm going to train for another year, 2 years, and then I'm going to enter. It's like, you're not going to improve like that. No matter how hard you train, you're going to improve in strength, but your table ability will not improve. You need to get into them competitions that you just need to throw yourself in. Like take the losses on the chin. That's the only way you're going to get better. Take the pain on the chin. That's the only way you're going to adapt. It's all the same thing, really. You just got to throw yourself in the deep end, get it done. Put yourself at your comfort. If you're in your comfort zone when you're training or when you're competing, and you're not going to improve as much as you want to, you need to push yourself out the comfort zone.
Yeah, like my main ambition is like when my sons are old enough to come watch me, I'll be in like, I want to win a competition to make it look easy. In the next like, he's 4.5, so like the time he's 16 years old, I'll be 42, and I just want to show him what his dad can do.
This is the thing, mate, and then that's going to give him the edge. Because again, that was sort of the case with my dad. If you do that, James, and your son sees you at the level that you get to by the time he's that age, he's going to think, fucking hell, I want to live up to that. And he's going to have that mindset the same as you, if not more. And he's going to be more hungry for it. And it's like with my dad. My dad got to such high level in such a short amount of time. I always aspired to be as good as him and as strong as him. Now, my dad's a big guy. I've always been a skinny guy. And my dad was always like stocky, like massive, muscly. So even though I could never match the size of him and that, I always wanted the strength. So that was part of my mindset. I got to meet up to that. And I think your son will turn into a monster. The higher level you get now, the more determined your son's going to be to get to that level as well.
Like he's already wanting to like lift weights and stuff. So I gave him like 2 10-kilo plates, and I go, so right, walk about the living room or the bedroom or something. Like we games with him. Make it a game. You know, by the time he's like 10, he already knows how to do stuff, and like you know what it's like if you're like for a young lad coming up, instead of paying a coach, it can sometimes be or having to go through all the losses, and when you've got your dad or a really close pal, he can just say, trust me, forget about what you're thinking right now. Just this is probably the better way to do it.
Yeah.
Just bypass 3-4 years of nonsense and just get straight to the nitty-gritty.
And they'll have technique as well, because they'll want to grip up with you as they get older and do bits and pieces. So they'll be sort of naturally ahead of their peers at the time. And we all love doing things that we feel we're good at, and they will feel like they're always good at it because they've got that background in it as well.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Just hitting those years where they start forming their own personality so much more, and the opportunities to go out as a young adult, start off creeping in, you get the opportunity to drink and do other stuff with your time that you go, you know what, why do I keep smashing myself in the gym when I could be having a laugh,
Yeah.
It's those couple of years, isn't it?
Like, I think in my head sometimes as well, like, when will my son actually pin me properly? Like when he's like 21 years old and we meet each other at a competition.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the problem is I could beat my dad now, but he's not competed since 2001 properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even then, he stopped competing properly in 95, 96, something like that. But he got to a stage in a short amount of time where he's competing against John Brezink at the Yukon Jack, and that he come third in Yukon Jack behind John and Bill Brezink.
Mm-hmm.
He got to a really high level. At one point, he was like the best in the country.
Yeah.
And the level in the 90s then, there are some strong guys. Like you had people like Robert Brown. You had a Robert Brown, 7 foot. Robert Brown, his brother Richard Brown, Rambo. Even him, Rambo was only like an 80-kilo guy, and he was matching these heavyweights. Like he was taking pins off these big guys, these heavyweights, and that.
I got told doing side table with him was like Craig, like just murder.
What with Rambo?
Yeah, we just constantly.
Murder.
Yeah, he's yeah, he was something special. He was Rambo back in his day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was hard for anyone to match him at his weight at all in the country. I mean, he's multiple world champion, like multiple British European world champion. He was back in his day.
Yeah.
He was ripped to shreds. I don't know if you've seen the videos of him.
Yeah,
I've not. No.
He looked almost like a boxer's, like they come in after a weight cut. And
he looked like a 100-kilo man, a muscular 100-kilo man that's shredded down to 70 kilo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard he had a condition that sort of prevented him from laying down body fat or something, so he had to. Yeah, something like that.
Even his face was like so muscular. Everything about him was just like his fingers had biceps, and
I want to say his name was like Rod Lynette or something like that. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, Rod Lynette. Yeah, that's
Rod Lynette. I'll have to Google that and find out. Yeah, because
you should have a look at him. Have a look at him, mate. He brought out his own machine as well. It didn't quite take off, but it's called the grappler machine.
Okay.
It's like an arm wrestling. It's basically arm wrestling, but your elbows were strapped down and it spun, basically. So it was almost like the floor was spinning the opposite way to the table. So when the table spun left, the floor would actually spin at the same time, but spin right. And you start on the red side and the blue side. The floor was red side, blue side. The pad was red side, blue side. And then you'd have to spin yourself round onto your colour to be able to pin them. And then if you're about to pin them and your opponent starts kicking their legs, pushing the table around again back onto his colour, you're not allowed to pin them. So it's like arm wrestling, but literally a full body, like legs included as well. You can literally just kick yourself around to stop yourself from getting pinned.
Are there any of these machines still knocking around anywhere? Because I'd love to see one, if anyone knows one.
I'm not sure. I think he tried making it take off. It didn't quite get there.
Sounds crazy. I'm just like picturing a guy like just sticking his hand into a concrete mixer and trying to like stop it on the fins or something,
Yeah. So I think James could do that. Probably.
Be curling it, yeah.
You should be able to look it up though. If you type in Rod Lynette grappler machine, there's a video of who is it? Sylvan doing the demo on it with I don't know if it's Tony Duray he was doing it with, but I'm not too sure exactly. But Sylvan was on it doing a little test run with it against someone. It looks really cool. It does look really good. But yeah, like I said though, back in them days and that, you had the super heavyweights and that, they were just animals in them days. And I think I was only one of the only ones, one of the only kids that actually followed their parents into sport. Joanne Paul's another one. You know Joanne Paul, don't you? The female.
Joanne.
I think I have actually. I thought I've seen her in like what's it called? She got a nickname. It's
the Hit Woman. Hit girl, or
Aye. Again, it's all the nicknames sometimes I recognise there. It wasn't. I think it might have been Neil Pickup that spoke about her. Maybe I don't know. A while ago.
yeah, she's basically her dad, Richard Paul, used to do it. He was another super heavyweight, and he was a big presser. I think he come like second in Europe back in the day. And again, just because her dad was doing it, she got into it. She started training when she was 5. She done her first competition when she was 5 years old on a little miniature table against boys. And she trained from there. She was training with men, Sylvan Carty, her dad, a load of other top guys. And she was probably the most dominant junior girl. Obviously, there's only been a few junior girls in that, but there was like 3 or 4 at the time. And she was just like completely dominant over all of them. And yeah, she ended up winning world championships. She won the worlds in Poland in 2013, I want to say. And then shortly after that, she had a baby and life took over, sort of thing. And she hasn't been training much since. But if she got back into it, Christ, there'd be a lot of women in trouble.
Have you seen the Slovakian woman who beat Gabby?
Barbara.
Barbora.
Yeah, I seen a picture of her next to 11. They're like the same height.
Really?
Yeah, she's a very big lady. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to meet her.
She won at the World Combat Games in Saudi Arabia last week as well, where Rhino and Sandris were competing. She won her category there, but it's only an 80 kilo plus, and I think she weighs about 115, 120, something like that.
Talking about women though, back to just change it a little bit, back onto East vs West.
Yeah,
you got Sarah Backman.
I think she'll win.
I don't know her opponent. I think she's Lithuanian.
Yeah, Elga.
Yeah,
Elga. She's had some battles with Gabby in the past.
Oh, okay.
And she's actually trimmed. She used to be quite big, but she's trimmed down weight now. When I say big, she was never like a large person. She was just like thick set, just like a big girl. Do you know what I mean? But
Sarah's around 80, isn't she? 80 kilos, I think.
Yeah, and Elga's come down to 80 as well.
Oh, nice.
Did she try a comeback last year or something and didn't go too well?
Who's that, James?
Helga, the person that Sarah's gone against. She tried a comeback last year. She didn't win. It might have been against Gabby.
I think it.
I can't remember, to be honest, but I knew she tried to come back.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I know that Sarah pulled Gabby. I mean, Gabby's just another level, isn't she? Gabby, that's to tell us, she's like ridiculous. She's just.
She's got to be the GOAT at this point.
Hey?
She's got to be the GOAT at this point, I think.
Oh, 100%. I'd say so. I don't think there's any girls touching her at the minute.
Well, that woman that just won the World Combat Games just beat Gabby because of Gabby won the first 2 and then she lost 3 after that or something.
Yeah, I think something like that. I think she's just too much, taller, and I think she's probably about 1.5 foot taller than her. And
yeah,
it was a strap, and I think it was a strap that really done Gabby bad. If someone's climbing so high in the strap, you just lose punches.
I mean, the problem with it, I honestly think if that match happened again, if they had a rematch, I think Gabby would do it.
I think so.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's just a bad situation for Gabby. Not a bad situation for her, but Gabby's used to winning a lot. Do you know what I mean? And if she all of a sudden 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden takes one loss, like bang, where's her head at?
Mm-hmm.
This don't happen to me. This don't happen to me at all. Like, what's going on here? And
I think Gabby was quite active that year as well. Like before that match, she just pulled Sarah, and her opponent maybe quite fresh. More incentive to win.
Either you guys familiar with the other ladies' match at East versus West? It's a 70-kilo world title. Irina Gladkaya and Fia Risic from Sweden.
That's going to be another screamer.
Mm-hmm.
Fia Risic, and yeah.
I know that, again, Fia was at the World Comeback Games. I think she won her category, won her weight class there. I don't think it's a massive field necessarily. I think it's like 16 countries in total represented, but I don't know where Irina is currently at with her training and stuff. Do you guys have any?
I see her training quite a lot on Facebook and that.
Yeah,
and Instagram. Okay. I've seen her posting that she's non-stop training. Nice. Looks physically fit, looks physically strong. That'd be tough because I've not seen her compete much. In all honesty, obviously Fia Rosic, everyone knows her, and I know Fia more than Irina. I don't know much about Irina. I have to look into her more, see what her style is and all that. But I'd have to say Fia for the win myself. What would you say?
I only really know the Swedish one just through like Instagram posts and stuff. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I know the women constantly train. Like you might not see them, but like they're coming in like low body fat percentages and stuff, and you can just tell the train. So it's like they're always on it, like on the gas. Like they don't pull off. Like some of them train harder than the men. So it's.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
like if you've seen Sarah Backman train up the like reverse grip up a rope, kind of like just you're like what?
I'm telling you now, I cannot do that. I've never tried it, and I never will. I know I can't do it.
Like I could do that way, kind of normal way, but I could not do that. That's no.
Nah, that's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I'll have to try that. I think that's something I might have to do, actually.
I will have to try it now. I probably will film it just to watch me fail miserably. But
yeah,
that's the content we want, Tom.
I definitely can't do it.
Yeah, rope burn.
I've seen the other match coming in. Babiev.
Yeah, Rustam and Irakli.
Thing as well, Rustam's been over here for a while, isn't he?
Yeah.
So obviously he's training with Adam Kapsa and that. God knows what he's feeling like. I'd love to get up there soon, train with him. I've only said hello to him a couple of times, never gripped up with him or anything. It'll be good to, especially after he pulls Irakli. No matter what happens in that match, it'll be good to just pull Rustam just to see where that level's at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be great to invite him down for a session. Yeah,
they are.
I just hope he doesn't pick up an injury. I think he's picked up injuries the last few times he's been on the high levels matches. I think it's pec mostly, isn't it, on that?
Yeah,
right arm. So hopefully he's healed up and it's feeling stronger than ever, because I think he'll need it for Irakli.
He hasn't competed much though, Rustam, has he? Like one match. Like he pulled 0 matches. Didn't really, in my opinion, maybe prep as best he could have, and then goes and pulls Paul Lynn.
Did he not have 2 matches? I thought he had 2 matches since coming back. I can't tell you who they were, but I'll Google it while you guys are chatting.
I know someone else with his second name had a match.
Yeah, his brother Ruslan.
Yeah.
Ruslan, yeah.
I'm trying to think who he pulled against.
I remember even years ago, Rustam got injured again with his pec against at the X-Men competition in London. He pulled either against Plamen Dimitrov or Andrew Ciprianov. He injured himself against one of them two.
Wow.
I want to say Plamen, but I might be wrong.
It's easy done.
He to scream at one of them and tore his pec again. So that pec injury that he's getting is a reoccurring thing.
Like when he got his peg tone. It wasn't like he got opened right up. You could see as he was just getting off it, it tore there.
Yeah.
And then like just getting put off his shoulder just a little bit. Done.
So when you're putting on that much power as well, if you're getting taken out of your position, it's what I mean. You're only strong where you're strong. Obviously, you're strong where you're strong. But if you're getting taken out of that position and you're still going balls out 110% when you're not in the most comfortable position there, and you're not thinking about your position because you guys so balls out on it.
Yeah, he was 2-0 up as well. So it's like you're quite gutted for him because you're like, you know, any other circumstance, like Paul just came right over the top of him.
Yeah,
like hooking him, just went right over the top, like straight wrist, just take that.
Exactly. Just made the right adjustment. And yeah, again, are the injuries from Ruslan because of not as much table time?
I think
like
it's that.
competition time. Thinking about too much power. Obviously, Ruslan's Ruslan. He's been about in the game for a long time, and he knows exactly what he's doing. But maybe it's not as conditioned as he does need to be with the amount of power that he's putting down.
Have you seen the way they train in that club with the elbow pads on, like in the elbow sleeves on a lot?
Nah.
You know the elbow sleeves you use for like bench pressing and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They all have them on when they're doing table time and stuff. Especially especially Rustam. Have you just watched them?
I mean, looking at that, you like in one way you'd probably think that's just a bit like elbow support and that keeping it all in place. But if it's like a bench press sort of sleeve, it's obviously wanting to make his arm go straight in it, and if he's forcing it, there's constant tension, sort of keeping your arm in that angle, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I can see how that works. Actually, it's not a bad way.
Yeah, because you're constantly having to. That's one thing I was thinking about. Like just seeing that, and maybe better for the actual elbow on the pad. I don't know, but yeah, just wee things you pick up. See.
I wonder if it gives you like a bit of compression around the elbow, which then when you don't have that on when you're pulling in a match, you're maybe missing that little extra support which you were getting, like doing deadlifts with a belt on and then doing deadlifts without a belt on. Maybe you're now it's a bit of a crutch almost.
Maybe,
yeah, definitely.
Should we talk about this last big match then before it gets to 11?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. We're better. Cool. We've been on there an hour and 50 minutes. Yeah, it's the longest one so far, 100%. So the last match, what's their names again? Nice.
They both begin with a D, I think, but I can't quite call.
Devon Brzezinski something.
Double D.
Yeah, double D, that'll do. No, so we got so it's Devon Larratt, Dennis Blenkov.
Did not think this would be coming around based on how dominant Dennis was a couple of years ago. Just couldn't see. I just thought the level was just far too much, you know. But with Devon the last couple of years, it's a fairy tale, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Like, I want Dennis to win, but I feel like Devon's going to win.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen that's going to make that happen?
I don't think, you know that move that Dennis does, the back pressure, drop the full body under the table type thing. I think Devon's going to come forward.
Or just cup him.
And give him no play. I think he's going to pull back and have nowhere else to go, and Devon's going to be right at the front of the pad.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's the difference. I think that's the difference from last time they pulled as well. Obviously, I don't think last time they pulled in Zloty in the super match, even though it was left-handed, I don't think Devon was as strong then as he is now.
Yeah, of course.
Dennis isn't as strong now as he was then.
Mm-hmm.
As well, it's a right arm match. And I think back then as well, Devon was trying to run away from his power.
Yeah.
Trying to break through his hand, but Dennis's hand is immorally strong. He's a ridiculously strong guy, even in the hand and wrist. And again, it's like I said earlier with a lot of opponents, if the hand's too strong, don't even try and get out of it. Sometimes you're best off just coming forward, going straight to the arm, and you've got a better chance of taking them off the angle, taking them off the bone line. I think James right there. I think if he does come forward and tries to bone line him straight away, because Dennis is going to try and drop on the attack low straight away. If Devon can just triangulate across, keep Dennis's arm up at the angle, and Dennis will bone line himself in effectively. I think Devon could beat him inside like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Devon will be able to play mind games and sort of like with Hermes, he won the match almost before it started. Do you think he'll have any effect on Dennis?
I don't. I think Dennis is just a normal Russian, and he's not going to fall for them. I don't think he's going to be affected by their mind games or anything.
No.
And the language barrier as well isn't going to help with the mind games for Devon. I don't think.
I think with you know what it's like when you've got the Eastern Bloc pillars, they're all competitive against each other. The high pressure situations they're in, and if you're saying the language barrier, I don't think Dennis even cares. I think he's probably what. I hope he wins and gets a good payday.
Yeah,
and then he doesn't want to come back and do all that harsh stuff to his body to win an arm wrestling match.
So here's the thing: how far's too far for these guys as well? Like, is it actually worth? I mean, he's already put his life on the line, like damaged his body and his inside so much. Like, will he ever go to that extent again? Probably. Is it worth it? Probably not.
I don't think he can. I think his organs have really struggled, the kidneys and stuff, with the damage that's been done. But
you've got Artem Morozov at like 26 years old, with stomach issues. You're like, is that really a virus, or did the doctor really put you on soup for 2 weeks?
Yeah, he lost a lot of size, didn't he? Very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a problem here. Like, it's experimental still, isn't it? Like, how much can the human body take?
Yeah.
So, and these guys are finding out for us. Sorry, and it's so right. That's too much. Like, you can't take that much physically. Your body can't cope with it. And you see people getting injured all the time because they're nailing down more power than the body can handle, or there's so many substances that shouldn't be in them. Their internal organs and that can't handle it, and they're turning ill. And how old's Dennis now?
44.
Anyone know how old he is?
He's 44, 43 years old, if that.
So and I'm not being funny. When he was here, he looked like mid-50s.
He looks 50 right now, eh?
Yeah.
He looks older than Devon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
if the outside of him looks like that, what does the inside of him look like?
I know.
What conditions the inside like? Do you know what I mean? It's
pulmonary heart disease. Like I hear all these old school bodybuilders saying, a few of this is all right, a few of that's all right. But when you're 65-year-old and you can't eat nothing,
it's not good. Especially if you go from going on a high, getting all the way up there, and then all of a sudden you're like on death's door, you come crashing down. It's like,
like I feel like Arsene Lily did it good. Can like just pull ultra elite level and then disappear.
Yeah.
Like,
Liliev as well. You see pictures of him years ago, footage of him years ago, and how big he used to be, how strong he used to be. I remember seeing a picture of him a couple of years ago when he was just getting back into it again, and nothing like the man he used to be.
Yeah, like that's another guy. Like they could come back and just clean house, but again, we're reminiscing over guys that it's not just training and nutrition; it's pharmaceutical.
Exactly. It's like we're saying as well. Is it worth your life to win an arm wrestling match? Going through that much, putting yourself through that much. To them guys, it probably is. It's probably more pride for them than anything else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stake for these guys, isn't there? I just hope that there's a good match in there. You know, I think that all the eyes of all the spectators of this sport are on this match in particular at this particular time. Obviously, a little bit before it was Levan and Devon, and it really sets the standard for what we're chatting about and what where the sport is going in the future with how these guys hold themselves and how they compete. So I just like a really good match, really, regardless of sort of outcome. And hopefully neither of those guys is injured and was able to push the sport forward even more. That's all I really want from it.
Yeah. So just reiterating, like, I hope Dennis wins, but I think Devon's got it.
This is the thing as well. If Dennis does win, where does he go after that? Does he carry on, or does he just call it a day after that?
I don't think his body can handle it, in my opinion.
This is it. But then with Devon, if Devon wins, what's for Devon after that? Does he have to go against anyone else, or does he go straight back to Levin?
I think he should pull Vitali, but I don't think he wants Vitali.
Yeah.
He doesn't
could do a bad match.
He doesn't want Vitali, guarantee it.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on what opportunities are available at the time, because he'll want to compete as much as possible while he's in this current form and traveling. Probably realistically, there's not necessarily a limit to how much he can improve with his nickname, of course, and with what John's showing as well. But I'm sure he wants to just capitalize on this current form as much as he can.
Yeah,
100%. We got Neil in the chat there, I think. I don't know if you saw it, Tom.
Oh yeah, I've not been looking at the chat for about the last hour, to be honest.
What a pro, eh?
Lads. Now that's a live show. Hope you all and your families are all happy and healthy. Huge week in arm wrestling this week, guys. Almost showtime. Thanks for the support, Neil. Appreciate it, mate.
I think Neil will be flying over there in a day or so anyway. Be commentating, won't he?
Yeah, I'd imagine he would be, yeah. I think my microphone is a bit shit because Sid just said he's got to be a brand new microphone from a laptop. And the thing is, I'm not even on my laptop. I'm on my phone, so my phone is shit. Neil said, in my opinion, it's incredibly sad that the perception and in some respects the reality of success in arm wrestling or any sport could be intrinsically linked to the use of steroids. That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be fantastic if we can, look at the guys like Ongabayev, what he's done with incredible technique and training and stuff. Yeah,
100%. 100%.
I'd love to see Dennis continue.
It's just a shame that people are getting to that point of putting their life on the line.
Yeah, once you open that door, it's then hard to go back. I think once you've seen what your new peak performance looks like, you're always going to be considered a shadow of your former self afterwards if you come off.
Like, it must be addictive being like superhuman and then subpar, not subpar, but even dropping 10%.
Yeah, less than you were. Yeah, even if you're still smashing everybody. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and in the professionals, it's only like a couple of percent, less than 5% probably difference.
I mean, it stands out as well. Like you get even not talking about the top level guys and that. Like, if you are using, you'll go up and then you'll stay up for a little while and you're going to come down. But even if it's like 5-10%, if you're on stuff in that and you're battling close to someone in your class, and next time you come against them, you lose that 5-10% less, then that person's going to blow all over you. Mm-hmm. It's a temporary thing, and unless you're doing it consistently, which isn't healthy to be doing it consistently at all. Rather have consistent gains rather than big gains and big drops, big gains, big drops. Just keep it consistent all the way. You're going to make better gains, healthier gains.
It's looking for those 5% elsewhere, getting that nutrition on point, making sure it's clean and consistent in calorie surplus with just the right amount for sustained strength achievements, and prioritizing sleep and those active recovery. All these little things can really add up, I think, more than just occasional training and steroids would or PEDs in general would do. And we've chatted about that, Tom, for you, haven't we, as well? Like on the drive back from whatever it was we were there at.
We went quite deep into it, didn't we, on the way back?
Yeah. All those little 5% you can pick up on, and it's well tracked in other sports, you know.
My phone's going to die, so and that's 11 o'clock. So I need to go and just chill it before I.
No stamina, these young guys. Look at that.
Yeah, to be honest, it has been 2 hours now. So
he's been holding his phone the entire time, getting that rep in. Isometrics.
Isometrics, aye. Now I'm going to plyometric.
Do you know what, guys? We'll all call it there because it's 11 o'clock and we've been on there for 2 hours now. So, yeah, and numbers going down on the chat. I think people are getting bored. So,
Aussie Arm Wrestlers live now. If anyone wants to pop over there, I might pop in there and say hello to people.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice to see you all.
What's one more comment from Neil? I'd always rather be a shadow of my former self than for any success I'd have to have, not actually being myself. When they throw dirt on me, I know that when I won, I won. When I lost, I lost. 100% Neil. This is the thing, mate. It's a lot of it is knowing in yourself what you've achieved. I mean, if people using that, it's entirely their choice in that. It's just a shame when it gets to the point that they're knocking on death's door with it. Do you know what I mean? It's just a shame that people feel like they have to do that for arm wrestling. Well, I love arm wrestling, but I love my life more. Do you know what I mean? It comes to that point, and just morally knowing you've achieved it in that way, or achieved it in that way, it's like Neil said there. You can look back on your career and you can say, yeah, I've done that, and yeah, 100%. I've always said never say never. We're going to jump off this in a second, but I've always said never say never. Probably give it mid-30s. I might go for it a little bit, but I have got to clean my diet up and all that first. I've got to get a lot of stuff sorted before anything like that. But I will never ever be putting myself on death's door. Like, not a chance.
They probably like taking like D-ball, like Smarties, and going for a bottle a week. That's.
So you hear some of the stories that some of the people have had. I've heard stories of some people in the UK that some of the amount of stuff they're on, and I'm just like, Christ Almighty. So God knows what these top level guys, well, super heavyweight guys are taking. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of it's fake as well out there. Like no one in the UK is probably getting farmer grade, or it's kind of hard to believe, that they're getting pharmaceutical stuff. So a lot of it is probably like underdosed. So they probably feel like I might need to take more, or maybe I'm just talking shit. So
I think that's what it is. You just get caught up in it, don't you? It's same with anything that you get a taste of something. It's like, oh, maybe a little bit more. What would I do? A bit more. I think we just lost James. Have we lost him?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think we just lost him. I think his battery's died. All right, right. So there's one more thing from Neil here. You are a magnificent arm wrestler, Tom. Best of British. Keep it real. Cheers, Neil. Appreciate it, mate. I said Neil's one of them guys. He's always, ever since I started it, he's always like been pushing me and that. He's given me the opportunities and that. And yeah, good of things like that. Everyone in the UK really has given me the opportunities, kept me going and going and going and going more and more. So that motivation helps. And you don't need the other substances really to do it. But I've always said never say never. Give it a few years when I feel like I've reached my physical peak or I'm falling apart, maybe, but not just yet. So School Lady Boy would have loved to see Tom in the 198 round robin that just happened in Tennessee. Yeah, that would have been good, mate. That looked like a pretty deep class there. Next year, I've got a lot of stuff sorted this year, mate. So next year is the year that I'm going to be traveling about, and we're going to see what we can do around the world.
Exciting
Right,
times.
guys. We're going to call it there now, guys. We've been on here for over 2 hours. Thanks a lot to everyone for joining. Really appreciate all the support. If everyone get over to James Stewart's channel, subscribe to him. He's got some big lifts he's posting on there regularly. It's good to keep updated on there. Maybe you can try it yourselves, what he's doing. I see one of his lifts a couple of days ago motivate me to do some of it, and it might do the same for you. So get on his channel. I'm sure you'll like it over there. Tim, thanks a lot for coming on, mate. Been a good show again.
We'll have to take Jason's name off of these shows and put mine on instead.
Yeah.
Swap him in for an older model.
We've got to get a proper name for the show. We've still got to get a proper name for the show. It's only next time we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have a name for the show.
You should put it out to the fans on Insta, do a poll and ask people to make suggestions or put a couple of suggestions up there and pick the best ones or something. That could be quite fun.
We done it early on in like show 2 or 3, but when I was doing it in the shed and that, all I was getting was like shed wars and things like that. So we need some proper good quality names, everyone. If you can post it to us, Instagram, Facebook, message me, Tim or the Hooligan, and see what we come up with. And the best ones we'll post on the next show, and then the winner will be the name. So I reckon that would be the best way to do it. Let the people decide. So right, call it there. I'm going to finish my cake. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining on. Tim, are you going to be on next week's show, mate?
I don't know if I'm working yet, mate, but if I'm around, yeah, I'd love to, as always.
Yeah, you can pull a sickie, can't you? So yeah, right. All right, cheers, everyone. See you next Tuesday.
Good night, all. Take care.